What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mostly Audibles podcast, hosted by myself, Jarrett Smith, with my co-host Ryan. How we doing, Ryan?
Doing well as always, Jarrett. How are
As
you?
all, I am fantastic. Glad we could finally get back to this. It's been a while in the works, live stuff,
Yeah, I took
but,
a I
but we're
took a
back.
workcation from podcast stuff. So like I just worked and I decided that everyone else was busy and slash I guess I didn't decide that everyone else was busy or on vacation, and then I decided that instead of me doing stuff by myself, I was going to take a rest from podcasting and just work, which I did.
And I was on vacation and working, so I understand.
Yeah,
I understand. I'm glad we're back, though.
we be here.
We are here. We are back. It's great to be back.
Great to be back. Here we go.
Do you like to start us off with some NFL news? Just quick run through
Yeah, we can. Gronk retires again.
again.
Yeah.
Will he be back? Probably.
I don't know. Honestly, when I watch that guy like in the everyday life, in his natural habitat, not on the football field, I think that man has had so many head injuries, and so for his sake, I hope he doesn't. Like, I think he should just like, what else do you got to prove at this point?
Oh, he doesn't have anything to prove. He's the greatest tight end of all time.
What I'm saying,
It's
like,
Football's a hard thing to leave.
yeah, I mean, obviously, as proven by his return, but I think he's done. Should stay done, I should say.
Yeah, we'll see. Depending on honestly, it depends on how the Bucks do. If they're doing really well and they don't need him, I doubt you see him come back. But
Yeah, I mean, he might make
if
one of those like late season returns for a
yeah,
playoff run.
if it's anything, it's a mid to late season thing, and he just comes in and then retires it again at the end of the year, which okay with.
Agreed. In other news, and we'll get into this one when we get to the North in a couple weeks, but the Steelers signed DT Larry Ogunjobi to a 1-year contract. Makes me very sad, and like I said, we'll discuss that in 2 weeks. But I
Mm-hmm.
will vent my sadness here and now.
I will vent my happiness.
Yeah. No. Anyway,
Sucks.
moving on. Ryan Fitzpatrick joins Thursday Night Footballs on Amazon Prime.
Love that. You have to have the greatest backup quarterback of all time on it. You have to.
Listen, man, Ryan Fitzpatrick has better numbers than some Hall of Famers. I don't want to hear it.
He absolutely does. That was no shade at all. Love Fitzmagic
Dude, same. From Harvard.
from Harvard of
From
all
Harvard.
places.
Like
Probably
we need to give him, or not we, but the NFL needs to give him an honorary Pro Bowl so that he can be eligible for the Hall of Fame.
absolutely. Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't make one with the Jets that year.
I know. Like, is this something that we can do? Like, can we like petition the NFL to give out honorary Pro Bowl?
I'm here for it. I mean, we can try. I don't know if they'll do it
I don't know. I mean, apparently the Pro Bowl game itself might be just eliminated entirely.
as it should. It's pretty much useless at this point.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of leaning towards everybody watches the players play like mini games over the actual game
Yeah. See, well,
because it's just them like going out there and jogging. Like none of us want to see that. It's a dying game. They should just get rid of it while they can.
yeah, like let me put it this way, and I understand that the ratings have gotten a lot higher recently for it, but when the NBA All-Star game is just absolutely like dominating headlines and the Pro
Hmm.
Bowl is just a secondary, you know you've done something wrong.
Yeah, because like NFL is immensely more popular than the
I
NBA. It
wouldn't say
just is.
immensely. I would say yes, I would agree it is more popular, but like come playoff time, I would say they're probably about the same.
Honestly, based on numbers, baseball is more of a
Oh my
comparison
God,
to NBA.
baseball,
Ratings
baseball.
wise, listen, that's all I'm saying.
Well, when you triple the number of games you play, yeah, you're gonna have padded numbers. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm saying like if they had a graphic literally the other day, World Series Game 7 and NBA Finals Game 6, the MLB led in viewers
All right,
for
cool.
for a dying game. That's not how you.
Okay, listen. I don't believe the NBA or MLB is dying. I just think that it's given. Okay, it gives up its title as most popular sport, and people are like, it's dying. It's not. Like, it's just not true.
It obviously isn't. I'm just reiterating.
I understand.
Just had to be thrown out there. That's all
All
I'm
I'm gonna
saying.
say, I do think the NFL and football is now America's pastime. It's America's game.
Like I wouldn't say pastime. Pastime is still baseball. It's just
Ah. Listen, do you still see people outside throwing a baseball back and forth? No, you see people throwing a
you don't
football.
you don't see people outside anymore.
I
What
mean,
are you
that's
talking about?
I guess that's true. But still, when they're outside, more often than not, I see, or at least personally, I see them more often than not throwing a football than they are a baseball.
Well, that could be true.
Yeah.
I don't,
Other news. We talked before that we weren't going to discuss this in general, because it's been so widely covered, and I agree. But I think it's worth mentioning. Deshaun Watson, he got a couple more lawsuits, and that raised the number of lawsuits to 24. He settles 20 of them, and the NFL was looking into a very much a maximum suspension when it comes down to his punishment.
well, I mean, I think we need to know what the maximum suspension is for this. Like to honestly say anything about it is we don't know anything. We know what's been told to us. We don't really know anything hard truth besides how many women have filed a lawsuit against him.
Dude, 24.
Oh, absolutely. He should be suspended. He should never play a game,
That's what I'm
honestly.
saying. Like he really, like, honestly, like, I can't believe I'm still shocked the Browns. I'm so angry with the Browns because I feel like they kind of like washed their hands of Baker Mayfield for no reason. Like they threw him out there when he obviously was hurt and couldn't play. This is something we'll touch back on when we obviously get to the North.
Mhm.
And then they tried to replace him with a guy who, before the franchise he played for, like enabled him to assault 24 plus women.
Yeah, with 66 different masseuses
Yeah, we're gonna
over
talk.
what, 4 years?
We might discuss them a little bit because the Texans are on our list of teams today. But
Yeah,
what a poverty franchise. What a couple of poverty franchises.
true.
Yeah,
Love that the Browns are getting screwed,
yeah.
but shitty situation.
Oh, facts. Agreed. Yeah. That, and honestly, that really is it. There's a couple other pieces of news that have come out in the last 3 weeks, obviously, but I don't think there's any that really should. There's not enough that would cost us spending time on, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, you want to get us into the first team, my friend?
All right, starting us off will be the Indianapolis Colts, and this is still an off-season grading scale, so we're gonna go over like who they have, what they got, and give our grade of them.
Yeah.
So for my Indianapolis Colts off-season, this is for this year. I'm gonna give them B, B
Interesting.
plus, B plus, and I do that mainly because I really like Matt Ryan. He's still a very good quarterback. I mean, last year kind of hurt him because Atlanta was that bad, but he is still a good quarterback. He's got to love the Stephon Gilmore signing because he is still, again, a
Oh
lockdown
yeah.
corner.
Oh yeah.
And let's be honest, they got rid of Carson, which I'm not the biggest Carson fan, not the biggest Carson hater, but you got to understand his faults. And he just wasn't that great last year. I think everybody can agree on that. No reason they should have given up a first round pick for him. And I think that they did well with what they had. They I mean they didn't go all out. I still don't think they've went all out yet. I think that's what hurts them and brings them down is that they haven't gone all out in a free agency with all the money that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've kind of screwed themselves because they have these all-star players who are about to become free agents or are going to get a new deal, and they're probably going to be in cap hell and they're in quarterback purgatory again after next year. So where
Yeah.
that's that's why you give them the B plus. They made great moves. It's just you still don't have a franchise quarterback, which is what wins Super Bowls in the NFL.
Yeah. No, I'm on a similar track. But I won't give them a B plus. I'll give them a B minus.
Mm.
And for all the reasons you said, I mean, I feel like what they had to be positive, like they still have a great offensive line. Their defense is still solid, especially with Stephon Gilmore in the secondary. Now that defense becomes kind of like quite scary.
Mhm.
Um, and like I said, their offensive line is still good. Jonathan Taylor's ridiculous. Matt Ryan, I will agree. I forgot that we were both on the Matt Ryan train. I actually love Matt Ryan. I felt like he was underrated before his MVP season. As his MVP season, and the only thing people remember from that MVP season is the fact that his team gave up the lead to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl 27-3. Not just him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like obviously blame still falls on him because they didn't score, but like at the end of the day, that defense still played awful that second half.
And coaching. Why are you
Oh,
you had
exactly.
Devontae Freeman and you weren't running the ball. That's all I'm
Exactly.
saying.
Like yeah, and so to blame him and for the kind of the ludicrous levels of scrutiny he's received, like since that game and post that game, when that team
Mm-hmm.
has had like a coaching carousel or just awful coaching in general, like a revolving door of players and the poverty franchise that was the Falcons post their Super Bowl run, like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like to say that was Matt Ryan's fault is ludicrous. And so I love, but not just the fact that they brought in Matt Ryan. I love the Nick Foles signing, reuniting Nick Foles with Frank Wright. I think that that is a great like you've heard the old expression and it's super old and I hate it at times, but in this case I really think it's beneficial. You're only as good as your backup quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if Matt Ryan goes down, you get a guy that can do the exact same thing just to a lesser extent that already knows the playbook of the head coach going in. So you might as well like yes, he might not make every single throw Matt Ryan can make, but you have in essentially the same quarterback replacing the guy that just got hurt. So it's like I love that. Philip Lindsay signing and Tyson Williams signing were good to round out that running back room.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but those are all the positives, right?
Yeah.
My one negative, yes, they signed Alec Pierce to a 4-year deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who else you throwing to, man? Like that.
You got Pittman. That's about
That's what I
it,
was about to say.
honestly.
You got Michael Pittman, then Alex Pierce, then Paris Campbell.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking down their wide receiver chart, and it's just like there are guys that I like recognize, but not guys that I'm like, oh yeah, like they got Kiki Cody from who once played in Houston down there in the third string of their receiver core, but like after that, like also I forgot to mention I should say in the running back core they still have Naheem Hines behind Jonathan Taylor, so that four set of running backs behind Jonathan. You got Jonathan Taylor, Naheem Hines, Philip Lindsay, and Tyson Williams, and I think that's a great lineup.
Oh, it's one of the best running back groups in the NFL.
That's phenomenal. But then like who's he gonna throw it to? Like their tight end Mo Alley Cox is all right, but then they right now on the depth chart on ESPN, he's followed up by Kylan Granson.
Yeah, they're like it's such a they're a hard team to go with because you can go either way.
Right.
Like their offseason could either be terrible to you or good to you. Really, it depends on how you feel about certain players.
Right.
The lack of depth at receiver is worrisome
Yeah.
in tight end, but they don't in today's NFL. You don't really need a great tight end. It helps.
Oh
It
yeah.
does. It helps.
Yeah.
It helps a younger quarterback. Older quarterbacks don't really need great tight ends to be great.
Right. And the only reason I
But
bring up the tight end is just because the receiver core is so bad.
yeah, but like let's be honest about it. Indy is they're not there to throw the ball. They're there to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor at least 2 of the 3 downs,
Right. Right.
and they throw the ball one time. Say, I mean, if if their scheme is as good as what it's advertised as,
Oh yeah. See, here's the thing. You're gonna see a lot of I'd say you're gonna see a lot of dual backfields with
as they
whoever.
should.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that. And it's not always gonna be with Jonathan Taylor. You're gonna see a lot of mix and matching, which will make them very, very scary. Like
Mm-hmm.
imagine you have this carousel of Taylor, Hines, and Philip Lindsay. And I know Philip Lindsay's dropped off, but he's still a dangerous threat, especially in this core. Then all of a sudden you get Tyson Williams coming in there in the third quarter to relieve the other three, and you know what I'm saying? Like
And
it's
the big thing on this too is when you have that many great running backs, what ends up happening is come playoff time, most of them are going to be healthy
yeah,
because they're not being bell cowed.
yeah. But you're gonna, and that will also help your wide receiver core because as thin as it is, when they do throw the ball, you're gonna see a lot of play action. You're gonna see a lot of motion, a lot of fakes.
Mm-hmm.
But when they do throw it, these guys not only will they be healthy as well, but they're gonna be waiting for that opportunity. So I think you're gonna see this receiver core if it goes the way I think it will. I actually like Frank Wright as a coach. I think he comes up with some
Mm-hmm.
pretty good schemes.
Yes.
Um, I really think that we will see this wide receiver core in Indy make a lot more plays than what I think their depth chart shows. Like they're like Michael Pittman, Alex Pierce, and Paris Campbell are going to probably ball out.
Hmm.
And their stats might not be like they might not pop off the page, but you're going to see a lot of impressive catches. You're going to see a lot of like plants break for 20, 30, 40 yards, maybe even touchdowns. Revolving around multiple 100-yard gains by Jonathan Taylor, Naeem Hines, and Philip Lindsay catching the ball out of the backfield. Like you're going to see a lot of that in Indiana, and it'll be fun. They'll have definitely I think a more of a grinded out kind of like longer drive type offense. They're not going to be one that you're going to hear a lot of like 60-yard bombs. You're not going to hear a lot of that high hitting offense, but they're still an offense that if they ran correctly, they can probably score up to 25 points per game, which is pretty respectable.
Absolutely. And the good thing for them is that in this division, it's them and the Titans.
Exactly.
They're up at the top, 1A, 1B, they can interchange. And then there's 4A, 4B.
Yeah.
That's how I'll rank them because they're both trash. Let's be honest.
Oh, agreed. And here's the thing too about the Colts that if you're a Colts fan, you should be pretty hyped for because exactly what you just said, it's really a two-way race for a playoff spot. But also that offense, like we just said, if it's ran correctly, can still be
Mhm.
very respectable. But also, like
Mhm.
we haven't even talked about it. We talked about Stephon Gilmore signing, but that defense can get stops. Like
They
if they
can.
play and stay healthy, that defense is scary. So
They're very good.
you don't
Very well coached.
Oh yeah, like I think back to the Broncos when they beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl when in Peyton Manning's last year. That man could not throw. You know what I mean? Like that offense for the Broncos was awful,
It was.
and they still won a Super Bowl. So I'm not saying that the Colts defense is on that level, but when you have a good defense and a quality offense, or I don't even want to say quality, like a decent offense, I really think that you can go far, especially in a two-way race. Because all you got to do is get hot at the right.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's time for the Jaguars.
Yeah, moving on. Jacksonville,
All right. I would really like to go first on this because I want to talk about it.
please do.
Okay. I'm going to go with a C minus.
Okay.
I feel like I'm being generous here. Okay. What were their key moves this offseason? Can you tell me? 'Cause I've got two right off the top of my head that I think are very important.
I mean, I'm hunting through.
Oh,
They signed
okay.
EJ
Well,
Perry.
okay.
That's just the
Well,
first one I saw.
they signed Christian Kirk for 4 years, 72 million.
Well, yeah.
Bad deal. Bad deal. Like Christian Kirk, decent receiver, not worth 72 million over 4. Just not. I mean, there's no reason he should be getting $18 million a year. Just I don't get that. That brings him down. They brought in Brandon Scherf. Really good guard, like him. Great, really good right guard. Really good. But they let Andrew Norwell walk when they're basically the same age. And like they basically just flip-flopped because Scherf went to Jacksonville from Washington and Norwell went from Jacksonville to Washington. I mean,
Yeah.
so you're not really getting – there's not much of a difference. Norwell is a really good guard, has been for years. That's why he got paid.
Right.
Your next one, bringing in Evan Ingram, who could be good, could be really bad. He is a very up and down player. And then you're bringing in Trayvon Walker, who, well, let's put it nicely. He is very raw. He is straight athleticism, which I'm very curious to see how that translates to the NFL because we've seen guys with just straight raw athleticism turn into absolutely nothing.
Right.
They're going to have to develop him. He is not going to be a first year 10 sack guy unless they're basically given to him.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But I mean, which they honestly they could. Josh Allen's on the other side of him. They do have hope there. But you really didn't do much offensive line wise to help Trevor Lawrence at all. He might as well have been running for his life last year.
Yeah.
The best receiver you got him again was Christian Kirk on a very overpaid deal, and you let DJ Chark walk, who again was never really healthy. So
I mean, still shocking.
I understand that move, but DJ Chark signed for 10 million and Christian Kirk's getting 18. I just don't get that, But I get, whatever, The Jaguars are going to Jaguar. They still have a decently bright future just because they have Trevor Lawrence. ETN is going to be, it should be good. James Robinson is a very good running back when he's healthy. Don't know when that'll be. Don't know. I'm pretty sure ETN's healthy, so they'll have a very good running back starting for them week 1.
Yeah.
Again, don't have a really good offensive line, so what's it matter?
Yeah, that was something I was going to point out, was that their draft class was okay. I still think, I know I've said it in our last episode, I still think Kayvon Thibodeau was the best player in this draft, and they passed up on him. They passed up on everybody to take Trayvon Walker from Georgia, which that's not a bad pick. He'll do well for them. You know, like I think he'll do relatively well. I'm looking at the draft right now. The 20th pick, which was their next pick, they took Devin Lloyd, a linebacker out of Utah, and then in the 3rd round, after following that pick, they took Luke Fortner and the center from Kentucky, or he's going to be playing center in Jacksonville. And I bring all that up because all 3 of those guys are just named. Okay, Fortner, Walker, and
Lloyd.
Lloyd are all right now currently listed as starters, which is a huge issue. They didn't yes. Luke Fortner in the long run will be, I think, a great addition. I mean, we're from the Kentucky area. We know exactly what this man can do.
Big blue wall.
Yeah. Oh, yes, he is. He was a big piece of that. He is a human wall. But I don't know in his first year. They didn't do anything to really improve their offensive line. In fact, they lost big piece of their offensive line. The retirement of what's his name? Hold on, I'm looking for it. Can't remember his name. Their center just retired.
Oh
no. I do this every episode. I always forget names. I'm so bad with names. I know who I'm talking about. I just can't remember their name. Brandon Linder. He was, he was a good vet presence. He wasn't somebody that was going to change the game, but if you had good pieces around him, he was a good plug and play guy.
Yeah.
He retires on a already really young squad with a going into his 2nd year quarterback. So now you replace him with another rookie. And defensively, they just brought back Josh Allen on his 5th year option, right? But then you surround him with Devin Lloyd and all these other guys that are super young or didn't really pan out to their potential or are all potential. And so it's I don't know. There are noticeable names on here that will make plays, like Shaq Griffin's down there that will in the secondary, and he will make plays.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? They're not going to consistently get stops. Their line's not going to consistently protect Trevor Lawrence. You're going to see a lot of play action, not in the same vein as the Colts, where they had a bunch of options to. You're going to see a lot of play action and a lot of pistol set, I feel like, because they're going to want to get the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hands quick.
Yeah, I mean, they completely might as well have. I mean, they didn't disregard the offensive line. They still drafted Fortner, who will be fairly solid in the long run.
Right.
Scherf is good, but you're still starting Cam Robinson at left tackle. I mean, come on. This is Trevor Lawrence was seen as a generational quarterback coming in, and your best protection for him on his blind side is Cam Robinson. Yeah. That's an issue. You have to be smarter about these kind of things. What's going to happen is he's going to roll out one time. Somebody's going to clip a knee and he's going to go down.
Right.
I mean, I really hope that does not happen because he is an incredible quarterback.
Oh yeah.
But when you don't address the most important part of a roster, well, second, quarterback's probably the first.
Yeah.
But when you don't address that, there opens windows that you don't really want to have.
Yeah, I can see this really very scarily resembling a Joe Burrow in his first year, where he had no line, but he was playing out of his mind. And obviously, Joe, number one, had, as bad as the Bengals were, they were still better than the Jags were in this position. And I feel like Joe, his game translated a little bit easier, I think.
Yeah.
Because we didn't see Trevor Lawrence really start making plays until late in the season when the pressure was off. Not to say he's not going to become that. I'm just saying that's what happened. And so I think the second year we'll see a lot of Trevor Lawrence making plays. The Jags will look a lot better. They'll actually look kind of competitive because Trevor Lawrence is being Trevor Lawrence. Christian Kirk can still make plays. Marvin Jones Jr. can still make plays. Evan Ingram, if he's healthy, is athletic as all crap, he'll make plays. But then we'll see where he'll roll out and exactly what you just said. He'll get clipped. He'll be hurt. And it'll be devastating because of what we know he can be.
Yeah, you kind of wish they had taken more of the Chargers Justin Herbert route this year. Like I still think Trayvon Walker is going to be a good prospect, but man, wouldn't Evan Neal have been nice on that side?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, no,
mean,
I would have definitely drafted O-line, spent money on the O-line, and then gotten whatever money, used whatever like finances I had left to get defense, so that
I mean,
maybe number one, he's protected when he's on the field, and number two, when he's off the field, maybe he has a chance to make something happen.
yeah, but they're a trash can of a team.
Dude.
Their organization has been bad for a long time. Outside of 2017, when they lucked into drafting a lot of good people and signing a lot of good people because they had a lot of money, and then
In the next year and a half, they were all gone.
yeah,
Agreed. I didn't actually give them a grade. I gave them a C because they stayed even keel. Like they had a really good draft class. Even though I kind of I don't want to downplay the whole Trayvon Walker because he's a great player. I just don't know if he was the guy they should have gone with. But they
yeah,
still had a great draft, and they still like I know how you feel about Christian Kirk. I didn't dislike Christian Kirk. If Travis Etienne's healthy, that's a great pickup. Marvin Jones Jr. is a really good vet receiver. They still got Laquan Treadwell down there in the receiver core, Zay Jones. So like they have decent names that can kind of make plays. Um, but yeah, and Evan Ingram, as we said. But other than that, like, there's still going to be a trash can. They're still going to, like, I'm happy I'm not a Jags fan because the pain.
yeah. It's got to be
They're
bad.
going to go 4-13,
Yep.
if not worse.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to the next dumpster fire organization, the Houston Texans.
I know I've used the term twice for two different teams, but we can only discuss one today, and that's going to be the Texans. And I'm going to say this because they have really agitated me with their whole handling of the Deshaun Watson thing. Poverty franchise. Like, it's awful. Like, I just want to take a second to share my sheer agitation at the fact that just handling the situation, right?
Yeah.
They not only did they withhold information until after he left, then they tried to screw the organization they traded him to by confessing that they were enabling him to do this by getting him his own hotel room and continuing to hire this service, masseuse service, knowing what he was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you do that after you trade him, not because you're like you come to your senses, but because you want to screw the team that took him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have my own. Like I've described a little bit, and when we get to the North, I will go into my agitation with the Browns because they're a whole different issue. But the Texans in general are probably my least liked franchise, and you knowing me for as long as you've known me, that's a lot. It is awful. I think that this franchise should be punished just as badly as Deshaun Watson, because if they had done anything different, had they had just said no, we won't let you do this because of humanity, a lot of probably suffering and pain could have been avoided, but they chose not to.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot wrong with the way that they handled that, and a lot wrong with the way that they enabled Deshaun. It's just you get what you get at that point. Like it's good that they're going to suck for a long time. It really is.
Oh yeah, no, and I hope there's other punishment. Like I said, if you're gonna punish Deshaun as he should be, in all honesty, he probably shouldn't play another game.
Yeah,
But if and when you punish Deshaun, the Texans better be receiving punishment as well.
absolutely.
Because like this type of issue shouldn't be just limited to players. It should be limited to people that allowed it to happen.
Yeah,
Especially because like in some situations you can't. Like there's like obviously right. Like a lot of the time, the guilty party will go their own route and do it. But when the entire organization like makes sure that it can happen, yeah, nah, that doesn't fly.
No, and I'm very happy that they're going to suck. And so with that, off-season grade C minus.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I'm giving them a C minus because they drafted incredible. The rest of the organization is a dumpster fire. They let the best player that's on the team walk, and Justin Reed.
Yeah.
because Deshaun wasn't playing last year, so
Right.
you're not going to count him. He shouldn't be counted anyway. He probably shouldn't even count toward the Browns offseason, but that's for later. So they drafted incredibly well. They let the good players that they had walk. I mean, they brought in what Steven Nelson, who is about 3 years past his prime. I mean, they helped the line a little bit, getting Kenyon Green. Davis Mills might be a capable starting quarterback in the NFL. We don't really know for sure yet because the Texans suck.
Yeah.
So what are we getting out of them? They're not good.
So bad.
They're not good.
I'm
They will
looking.
be lucky to win 3 games this year.
Oh, for sure. I will stay in that C minus C range. I'm kind of tweening because like you said, their draft class was crazy. Derek Stingler. Yeah, Stingley. Sorry, I don't know why I looked at Junior and just mixed them together. Derek Stingley, I love. That was a great pickup for them.
Absolutely.
Kenyon Green, another great pickup. Like
One of the best offensive linemen in the draft.
yeah, even into their third, fourth, fifth round picks. Like I'm looking in the second round they took Jalen Petrie. How do you pronounce
Petrie.
it? Petrie, thank you. John Mechie the third. Like they just keep going. Christian Harris, Damian Pierce. These are great picks for when they were taken.
They really are.
And so it's like they have a great core, and if they can keep drafting like this, they will eventually find in themselves 3 to 5 years with a really good core. But in terms of what they picked up for this upcoming season, a bunch of I don't want to say nobodies because they're pro players that are getting paid millions of dollars, but their best player, and I'm looking through here, that's not a rookie. I look, and I'm not going to call him their best player, but I see him and I think please get him out of there. Is Brandon Cooks?
Yeah.
Please save Brandon Cooks because he is their best receiver.
Yeah.
You got they're right now their quarterback rotation. You want to hear their 4 quarterbacks they got on roster?
I know Kyle Allen and Davis Mills. Let's hear the rest.
Jeff Driscoll.
Oh my god.
And Kevin Hogan.
Oof.
Those are their 4. Those are the guys they gotta choose between. Is Davis Mills, Kyle Allen, Jeff Driscoll, and Kevin Hogan, and it makes me so it's so funny.
Yeah,
that is so bad. Like I can understand you going with Davis Mills because he's at least somewhat competent, right? But Kyle Allen had his shine, didn't really pan out, but then the other 2 are just so bad.
Yeah.
And then their running back room is the exact same. Marlon Mack is respectable. Rex Burkhead was good in New England with Coach Belichick, but then you got Damian Pierce and oh my gosh, Garrett Ogunbowale.
I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce that name. So
Ogunbowale.
Yeah.
And their receivers, Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins, and John Mechie III will be their probably starters with Philip Dorsett, Chris Conley, and Chris Moore, and that's all right. That's not good. Their tight end rotation is just awful. Brevin Jordan, Farrell Brown, Keegan Quinn. Oh gosh, Quitoriano. There we go. I got it out. And then besides Larry Tunsil, they have some decent guys on their front line, but not enough to really protect Davis. Their defense, outside of Derek Stingley, who's probably a year or 2 out from being what he will be, is really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is the exact same situation, just without a quarterback or promise.
Yeah, which Davis still could be pretty decent.
Okay.
Again,
it's Josh McCown decent. Like what kind of decent we talking about?
I'm talking like Jimmy G decent.
Oh my gosh. No, don't even try to compare.
I'm saying he's not going to be the best quarterback in the NFL, but he could be serviceable.
Davis, yeah, as a backup.
Okay, I mean he still beat out Tyrod last year, which again serviceable backup, but he still did it. I mean you got to give him some props.
Tyrod, I love Tyrod, but not his best showing, man. Bad day for Tyrod Taylor when he loses to Davis Mills for the starting job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this franchise. They stayed the same, arguably got a lot worse. But because of their draft class, like kind of like you in the exact same situation, I don't want to give them like a D because they drafted so well.
Yeah.
And they still have Laramie Tunsil, who I
I thought he signed with Miami.
know on here it
Or
says he's
no.
still there.
No, he's still there. I'm thinking of someone else.
Very say, I was almost thrown for a loop because I was like, when did this happen? Because I completely missed that if that happened.
Pretty sure I'm thinking about Armstead.
Yeah, you probably are.
It happens.
It does.
All right, let's go on to the Titans.
Please,
So
you keep going first.
I keep going first.
You've been
Okay.
killing it. I want to keep hearing what you have to say.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be honest. Um, I really can't give them anything higher than a C. I mean, they didn't bring anybody in. They really all they did was lose people. They, I think genuinely the reason they are even at a C, bringing in Austin Hooper, who is a serviceable, very good tight end, and drafting Malik Willis, who could be the next guy. That's it. Like that is my entire reason for them being a C, because let's be honest, they didn't really do anything else. They I mean, what can you say? They didn't really need much. They needed a little bit, but they didn't need much. So I think I feel comfortable sitting them in the C range. That way I don't have to I can I can I can comfortably be okay with putting them in the C, because if I give them a B, I'm an idiot. If I give them a D and their players pan out, I'm an idiot. So you got I'm gonna give myself a little bit of leeway, but that's about all I can get.
All right, so you can call me an idiot if it doesn't pan out, or if it does pan out, I guess, because I'm giving them a D plus. They did nothing but make themselves worse, not only with talent, like they had an okay draft class, right? Like Malik
Yeah.
Willis could end up being amazing. I really like that pickup, but after that, like Traylon Burks is good, but like
You still lost AJ Brown, so
yeah, like you dealt. That's what I'm about to say is that you
yeah.
dealt your best receiver. You drafted the guy that's going to replace your current quarterback and just made him angry. Like you still have a decent, like you're pretty good actually. I'll say you still have a really good offensive line. Your two projected starting wide receivers are currently questionable: Robert Woods and Traylon Burks, right? So it's like, yes,
Yeah.
they will still have receiving core, and I know they're a run first team with if and when Derrick Henry gets healthy. But at the end of the day, Derrick Henry's been carrying a lot. So at some point, you got to start throwing the ball, and you got a guy
Mhm.
that's not happy to receivers that aren't healthy.
Yeah.
Then you add
There.
into the fact that their defense, while still good, like they still have, Bud Dupree's going into his second year here. I'm just looking through, like they still,
Landry.
sorry, what?
Harold Landry is really
Oh, that's
good.
I
I
was
mean, we're not.
literally who I was about to name after this,
Yeah.
but I was about to say his name. That I was going to look down. Like they still have a
Yeah.
bunch of really good, like high quality names. It's still, honestly, this defense is almost the exact same. So
Yeah.
like, and this defense is going to be very serviceable. We're going to see like the Colts Titans games will be fun to watch just because they're going to be so defensive heavy.
Yeah.
But the Colts, like while they vastly improved, the Titans, like while they did bring in Austin Hooper and they still have that good O line, they not just because of the loss of talent, but they what's the word I'm looking for here? They fell back so far just because of the things that they did in the locker room.
Yeah.
Like
It,
I can see this becoming just from the things I saw with Ryan Tannehill, and I had so many problems with that because he was just an absolute like dick, like to Malik Willis, right? He's like he got mad that they drafted. He's like, oh, it's not my job to train a guy. It's like, dude, you are 34 on a run first team. I wouldn't even call you a franchise quarterback. You just do your job when you're called upon. You don't make plays.
no, he's honestly he cost him last year.
That's what I'm
Like
saying.
let's
And so it's like I don't know,
he,
like he agitates me because he does that. Well, he did that, but I feel like that mindset will not go away, especially when Malik Willis shows he's got a better arm, he's more athletic, and he's more accurate, and threatens his job, right? So you're just gonna see. I feel like you're gonna see Ryan Tannehill get more and more toxic it's going to infect the rest of the locker room to an already depleted and worse team. That's not completely healthy. Who probably will be by the time the season rolls around. But you know what I'm saying.
I get it. They're a very health dependent team, and
They're not deep.
if one of their O line goes down, they're gone. If their running back goes down, you might as well. If Derrick Henry goes down, this is a 500 or below team.
That's what I'm saying. Like Derrick Henry goes down, you got Hassan Haskins backing him up. Like there's nothing wrong with Hassan Haskins, but that's all you have.
Yeah, they really should have brought back Deontay Foreman.
Oh
Who
yeah,
was very good
that
for
was a
them last year.
phenomenal replacement when Derrick Henry went down. That's why that team was still where they were.
Yeah. So you're gonna they're about to hit a very serious decline.
Yeah.
And the way that their offseason went, you wouldn't think that. You would think they're just plugging holes to go to a Super Bowl. But let's be honest, if this team wasn't good enough last year to go to a Super Bowl, why would people think, or why would their front office think that they're good enough this year when they got worse and a lot of other teams got better, especially in the AFC West?
Exactly. Like the AFC West, we're not. I mean,
let's be real. It's for them and the Colts. It's win the division or go home. There is no hope of fighting for a wild card spot.
Exactly.
There just isn't.
No. Yeah. No. The Titans. Honestly, in my perspective, from what I see, they had an awful offseason. Like just awful. Austin Hooper was a decent signing, and like Malik Willis, I feel like, that's the thing that I think agitates me most about the Ryan Tannehill thing is that was the right move. That man fell. He was the obvious best player in the draft at that point in the third round, and your quarterback's aging and isn't a playmaker like that. Ryan Tannehill is not like that.
No, he is far from being the elite level quarterback that
thinks he is.
Yes.
See, that's what I'm saying is that if Ryan Tannehill was a GM in that same position, he would have done the exact same thing.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody would.
Yeah.
Most people probably would have ended up drafting him earlier, but somehow he just kept falling.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It was good. It was good for them. I'm happy for them. Yeah. I understand why he fell. I don't think he should have fell as far as he did, but I understand why he fell.
Right. No, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I do want to say one of their latest transactions they did 5 days ago. They added a guy from Eastern Kentucky from EKU, Jeremy Hawkins, who they added. They didn't say signed. I'm going to assume that means practice squad. But hopefully that means something good.
Roll currents.
Roll currents, baby.
I mean, how many? There's what? 2 other people in the NFL went to Eastern, Tim Boyle and Noah Spence. I don't even know if Noah Spence is still in the NFL.
Yeah, and Tim Boyle just recently signed an extension with the Lions, so
yeah,
like he'll be there.
He's their backup right now, which is not good for the Lions, not at all.
No, I mean, hey, roll curtains. Don't talk bad about my boy Timmy.
I'm sorry. He's just he's Tim Boyle. I mean, come on.
All right, whatever. All right, you ready to get into the NFC?
I am, good sir.
Oh. Let's move on.
All right, this is the Buccaneers. We've had a very, very interesting offseason by all accounts. So, like, first thing that happens is Tom Brady retires. You go from Tom Brady retiring to him coming back. Then you start adding pieces back. Gronk retires. You still haven't filled out the last of that defense. Obviously, because Tom Brady comes back, that makes their offseason a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
They still don't have his replacement, which is a little sketchy. Their running back room is still the same. They brought Fournette back, which was it was a good move. It was a smart move. Gotta like that. They lost their second best lineman in Alex Kappa. He went to Cincinnati. Brought in Russell Gage to fill Antonio Brown's role. And who else they signed that was important? Keem Hicks to fill Ndamukong Suh's role. So C+.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to give them. Was that they recovered and maybe got got better in a few areas, stayed the same everywhere else. I mean, might have gotten worse in places that's easily replaceable.
Yeah, like they're still going to be really good because
Yeah.
they're the Buccaneers. They have Tom Brady. They're going to be good. The issue lies that this is an off-season grading, and they didn't get better that much. Like
No, like
they lost Whitehead, they lost Kappa, they lost OJ Howard, who would have been their starter this year.
yeah.
So you lost three of your most important positions, and I'll just be honest, I don't think that they filled those positions that well in the draft.
I like their draft. But here's the
Did
thing.
you?
After looking at this, kind of deliberating for a second, I'm actually going to drop them from a C plus to a C minus, and I will explain.
I would probably go in the same boat.
Just after because I just off the first look and kind of knowing what I already knew, but after thinking about it and looking at I pulled up their depth chart after looking at their signings, and I realized like I they lost their starting tight end, they lost their starting center. So they have a worse line, including tight end. They have
Mm-hmm.
what I'm about to say doesn't matter as much because it's Tom Brady, but their wide receiver core is thin.
Oh yeah,
Like
once
it's
like if one of them gets hurt, you're throwing in Scotty Miller, and if one of them gets tired while one of them's hurt, who are they throwing in?
like
Like
Rashad Perriman,
yeah, Brashad Perriman. Like
like Cyril
he's
Grayson.
he got drafted because he was fast as hell, and he's not that fast anymore.
Right.
So why is he still kicking around? I don't know. I feel like they could probably get some a better wide receiver than Brashad Perriman to
Right.
be like a fourth or fifth guy. But caps cap situations are very difficult, and you know they're just they just did not do well this offseason.
Exactly. They're gonna be fine. They still have defensively,
Yeah.
especially Akeem Hicks, Vita Vea, um, uh, Shaquille Barrett,
Mm-hmm.
Logan Ryan, all these guys that they have, they're gonna be fine. Devin White, defensively, they're gonna be great, right? Like
Yeah.
they were last year, even without Ndamukong Suh. It's just their offense, even with Tom Brady, while it will still be good because Tom can just make those plays, and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are still there. Their line is not as good, so he's not going to be as protected. So that means he's going to be hurried a little bit more. He's still going to be Tom Brady. Yeah, Leonard Fournette's still there, but I don't know. They just don't have as much of a security blanket. I think they got worse. I really do.
Yeah, I tend to agree, but I think the thing that really like if Tom Brady retired, this off season is like a
D minus. Yeah.
D minus, but because it's basically like they signed him again.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to look at it that way, and so you're thinking about signing him again, and their two best additions were Akeem Hicks and Russell Gage, who did
Right.
fill holes, but I mean, what realistically, what is the ceiling for Akeem Hicks at this point? Russell Gage can be very good. I do like Russell Gage. I don't know. I would say with Tom Brady, he's going to be
You're pretty
better
good.
than what he actually is.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see because he was in Atlanta with Matt Ryan, and Matt's a good quarterback. I hope his arm strength stays intact
Yeah.
because again, I would like to see the Colts play good.
Yeah.
But the Bucks just they didn't do much.
Well, see, I actually like their draft class because they're in this class. It's almost like this looks like a rebuilding team's draft, right? Or
Yeah.
with the exception of a high first round pick for a high profile player, everywhere else, they're filling defensive end spots, offensive tackle spots, running back, tight end. They got a punter. They got some secondary help, some defensive line. So I don't know. I like it because it adds youth and depth into things that when they finally rebuild, they can already have that step forward. Because how many years they got left? Like two. So if you can afford it, if you can start drafting like this earlier while you're coming out of one era and into another, that just puts you that further ahead later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, though: this draft does not help them now. That's the only issue. So that's why I dropped into a C minus. I love their. If we're doing a long term thing, they might be a little higher, like a C plus. I might have stuck with that because like I said, this draft is really, really good for building depth and for maybe even finding like some of those guys that will help carry them into the next era.
Yeah.
But like if you have a few drafts like this while you're still good, and then you get that one draft where you get some of those high profile players to add on top of a few classes like this one, you're pretty good. Like,
I feel like they're going for like a better version of what Indianapolis is going for,
yeah,
where they're building the team up, and when Tom eventually retires, they're gonna just bring in another quarterback, and
they'll be fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that the thing for them is when Tom retires, they're not getting another Tom. There is not another Tom. There will probably never be another Tom. So, what is the ceiling for bringing in an older quarterback? What are they going to get a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, ride him for 2 years? I very seriously doubt that. I honestly don't. I don't see Aaron Rodgers ever leaving Green Bay.
No. I think he
Or
retires after this year.
yeah, I don't know about this year. I think he stays this year, next year, and then he's gone. But
Maybe.
it's a bad time. It's not a bad time to be a Tampa Bay fan. That comes when Tom Brady retires.
It's getting close.
It's getting close.
Yeah.
They are still one of the best teams in the NFC and will have a shot at the Super Bowl this year. So you have to be optimistic about it.
That's honestly though, that's just because the
you also
NFC's
have to,
weak.
well, I mean, they still have Super Bowl champion Rams in there.
Okay, yeah, the Rams, but it's super top heavy.
It is.
You got a worse Bucks
I'm gonna be
team.
honest. I really just wanted to throw the Rams thing in there because you're a Bengals fan.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. I'm. You know what? I have moved on. Not really.
No, you
I'm
haven't.
still in pain.
I was about to say, don't lie.
I'm going to ignore it, and I'm going to talk about the Bucks. Because yeah, I don't know. I feel like yeah, they will still be quote unquote Super Bowl contenders, and they will still be one of the quote unquote best in the NFC. That's just because the NFC's weak. It's weak.
Yeah, it is.
Like who else in their own division is gonna compete with them? The Saints, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're a shoe in, even while what they've gotten considerably worse. They're a shoe in to win their own division. And who else in the NFC is going to challenge them? Okay, fine. Another team from the NFC West, like the Rams or the Niners, right? But
Yeah.
or even the oh shoot, no, I just lost who I was thinking of. Oh crap, never mind. Retract that last part. But the point is, yes, we know the teams that are already good in the NFC. There are no more after that. Like in the AFC, we could just keep going on and on and on about how this team might do that and this team might do that. I don't know if all this works out. This team might do that. None of that. None of that. You know what I mean? Like the Packers might do something, but they lost Devontae Adams to the Raiders in the AFC. So it's just like, yeah, no, I'm. This is almost as bad as the East was to the West in the NBA. If you're a basketball fan, for years the West was just the cream of the crop, and the East was just like LeBron James. This is what this feels like. To a lesser extent, this is what this feels like. You've got Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady in the NFC. You've got everyone else in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean that those are where, like, I mean, let's put it lightly. That's where the franchise quarterbacks are right now.
Oh, factual, young and old. Like
Yeah.
other than those two.
Yeah. So I'm there. I feel I feel comfortable with my C grade for
B
them.
minus.
I understand it. Realistically, we could go D plus, and
really
I feel like I would be okay with it.
I'll give them some respect. They're still Tom Brady.
I will give them. Yeah, I will give them their respect, even though I don't know how they'll be without Bruce Arians.
I think Todd Bowles will have a good second going.
Well, it's yet to be seen. Well, it'll be very interesting to see this year. I'm excited about that.
All I'm saying, and this will be the last point we make about the Bucks, Bruce Arians wasn't calling the offense anyway. It was Byron Ludwig, and he's still going to be calling the offense, so it's not like that's going to change. And the defense is still going to be called by Todd Bowles, so that's not going to change either.
Yeah, I agree. I do.
All
again,
Bruce
it'll
Arians
be
did was move into a front office role, so he's still going to be around.
Yeah. All right. Our next team is the Atlanta Falcons.
Let's go. I actually don't care for the Falcons. I just wanted to act like I was hyped for them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give them a solid B plus. And I'm gonna be honest here. I was debating going A minus,
Wow.
but I don't know how good Drake London will be, and that really keeps me from going A minus. I did like Drake London coming out. He could be a very good receiver. I was pretty high on Desmond Ritter coming out because he ran an NFL style of offense in
Hmm.
college. I'm very hopeful to see what that brings. I like Marcus Mariota a lot. I'm glad he's getting his second chance. They brought back Cordero, brought in Lorenzo Carter, and I mean, really, I'm basing my grade off of those three players because those are the ones that matter to me, or four, however many I said.
Yeah. Um, I'll go lower than that. I'll go a C plus. Like I like the moves they made. Like they added a little bit of depth to a weak receiver core. They signed guys like Geronimo Allison and among a few other guys. They got Tucker Fisk to kind of back up their tight end core behind oh god, Kyle Pitts. There we go.
Mhm.
Um, they tried their best to re up their aging or running back core because Cordell Patterson is going to be Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
Um, but they got Damian Williams and Tyler Anglier all kind of there. But I don't know. They did improve, but they didn't make any of those home run hits other than Desmond Ritter.
See, I think I'm basing this more on the fact that they're finally pushing out that old regime that took them to the Super Bowl
Which is
because it was
great.
it was time. It was about time. They're going to be in like a full rebuild mode this year,
Yeah.
which is absolutely perfect. It's what they needed to do. And I'm glad that they finally took that step because they were trying to win with players that just couldn't win anymore.
Right.
Great, really good to great players in their prime. They weren't in their prime anymore. That's
Right.
okay. Just I'm glad that they finally took that step, and I think once they traded Matt Ryan, that was them saying, okay, we know we suck. Let's go ahead and start rebuilding so that we can like
Yeah.
progress on. You take a chance on Ritter and Mariota
Yeah.
because and I really enjoy that because statistically speaking, one of the quarterbacks taken outside of the first round will be good.
Oh, for sure.
That's just how it is. Every year, one of them comes out and they're just like, okay, this kid was actually really good, and they were just held back a little.
Yeah.
Last year, Davis Mills. Year before, I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember, but there's usually one in every class.
Hmm.
I'm glad Mariota's getting his chance again. I don't think he. I don't think he deserved to be pushed out of Tennessee the way he did. But I'm a Mariota guy. I can't help it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. See, you can't sleep on Felipe Franks, the current third string guy out of Florida and Arkansas. Do you remember Felipe Franks?
I sadly, yes, I remember Felipe
Yeah, I do.
Franks. He was a
I do
trash
too.
can.
He
I
really
have no
was.
idea how he is still
How
in
is
the
he on this
NFL.
roster? I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
I really shouldn't say that because he's in the NFL. He's a good quarterback. He's just
eh,
I didn't think he was good in college. I don't know how he even made it to the NFL.
yeah.
I,
See, yeah, I agree. I was just messing around with Felipe Franks. See, here's the thing.
yeah,
All their best signings were draft picks.
yeah.
Like honestly, like Desmond Ritter and Drake London, those two will probably be like scary together
Mhm.
in like 2 or 3 years.
I,
Um,
I would say their best signings would be Lorenzo Carter, Rashawn Evans, Mariota.
well, yeah, if you're talking
But like,
outside of draft, is what I'm saying. Like their
yeah,
most exciting signings were
yeah,
from the draft,
yeah,
but like in terms of best like ready now players, those three are for sure.
yeah. Like I mean, they gave themselves a bit of a window to rebuild this team and then kind of give it a go, see if you got the quarterback. And if not, you can reevaluate. I would say you give Ritter I would say you give Mariota this year, Ritter next year, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah,
Like you see what you have at the quarterback position. Although it is Atlanta and they will probably mess it up somehow. They'll probably do like the Giants, and then just keep starting the same quarterback, even though everybody knows he's trash.
all I'm gonna say is I don't think it's gonna take longer than half a season for Desmond Ritter to replace Mariota. I really don't think so. I think they signed Mariota not knowing that they would get a chance at Ritter, and now that they've got a chance at Ritter, I can easily see this Falcons franchise getting overexcited. I really can.
Oh yeah, obviously, like that could very easily happen. But if Mariota goes out there and balls out, he's still just 28.
Well, facts, yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
that's complete facts. But at the end of the day, I don't think he will. Like he will be a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but a good quarterback on a bad team doesn't always win games.
that you're not wrong.
They get to game 8 and they are, 2-6, and they're like, well, we got nothing else to lose. Let's throw the kid out there, and the kid does all right, and then they're like, this is the next guy, and then because confidence and bad team, he might, I've seen it so many times where a young quarterback kind of gets thrusted into a fire too early, and his confidence gets shaken because he's hit every other play, and his passes are batted down because every single cornerback in the NFL is 15 times faster than any quarterback he's faced in the NCAA. Yeah, I have some fear for Desmond Ritter. I don't think just the way that this franchise has been. Um, I have a lot more respect for the Falcons than I do some of the other franchises we've talked about, but the Falcons have made some issues. Like they've had some issues.
Yeah, definitely.
So
And I'm okay with that. I I just and again, like I was saying earlier, I base this more on them finally opening the door for a rebuild.
right, like okay, after Drake London and Kyle Pitts, they don't have a receiver. Like as my Bengals self sees Auden Tate, and I'm like, ooh, Auden Tate, but Auden Tate barely played.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's a good
What
receiver.
let's be honest. Where was he gonna play?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Auden Tate's a good receiver, and I get how good the Bengals were in terms of their core, but also like Auden Tate's not no, he's not going to change the game for the
No,
Falcons.
he's not gonna tip the scales in their
Like
favor that much
like
to where
okay,
they're
you got
competing.
Brian Edwards, and you got oh god, I'm not this guy's name. I'm so bad at pronunciations. Alamide Zacchaeus.
Not even gonna try.
Yeah, Alamide Zacchaeus. That's the name. I did it correctly, and anybody that says it's wrong, even him, if he says I pronounced it wrong, he is incorrect. Um,
Agreed.
yeah. But like that's it. Like there are guys I've never even heard of. There are guys that I have heard of and played nada on a good team, and then there are guys that haven't played a single snap. And then there's Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
And their offensive line didn't really change, so it's meh. Their defense is trash.
Yeah.
Their first string running back is 35.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I have little faith in the Falcons. I worry they're gonna ruin Desmond Ritter. I hope he. I love Desmond Ritter. I really do. So I hope if he gets his chance, he just balls out and the Falcons like win, 7 games in a row and they do great. I hope they do that with Marcus Mariota because I also like Marcus Mariota. I've got nothing against him. But I have more fear for Ritter than I do Mariota because Mariota will be a very good quarterback regardless of how well they play. It won't be his fault that they lose. Let me put it that way.
No, it'll fall on them not being able to stop anybody from scoring or block anybody.
Them just
Or
being
have a sense of a run game.
them being a literal trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the Panthers.
Oh, here we go! Yay!
Yay. What are
Why
we
did we pick
thinking?
the South, Jarrett?
Because I wanted to get them out of the way
Why
so we
are
don't
we
have to talk
here,
about
man?
this dumpster fire of a division.
Today, listen. I hope you didn't come here hoping to have a good time because none of us
No.
are.
No, this is terrible. I hate it.
This has been awful.
We've been dogging these teams for the last hour.
We've been recording for an hour and 3 minutes, and it has been, except for maybe one team, it's just been they're trash. They're a poverty franchise, and you know what? We are still here.
And we're still correct about them being poverty franchises. Let's not act like we're not.
We are very correct. Like I think that's what's worse is that we're right. It's not even like an opinion. It's just factual.
Yeah, it's just true. Like honestly, if anybody watches any of this division's games, like I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, like I will watch the Panthers get blown out by whoever else, but I will not watch them have a close game with the Falcons. Like
No shot. No.
Catch
I'm
me
just
watching
done.
the Falcons and Panthers play in the fall. Nah, that ain't happening.
Nah, like there's so many other I love football, but I can't put myself through that. I just can't.
I would rather go cut my lawn than watch these two teams play.
Yeah, like no, it's just
Like,
not
I'll go be
happening.
productive.
Yeah.
You gotta be an adult.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
then yeah. Sorry if you're a fan of either two of these two. Actually, no, I'm not. Um, I retract. Fans of these teams.
I don't know. I feel sorry for him,
I
but it's funny.
listen, man. You ousted me earlier. I'm a Bengals fan. I suffered for years. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
I look at other franchises that suffer and I laugh. Like, like the Falcons and the Panthers at least saw their team win a playoff game in the last 5 years. Listen, this past year was the first time I saw my team win a playoff game in my life. I am 21 years old.
Well, they should have had a couple, and I think that's what makes it worse.
Regardless, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if they should have. They didn't.
Yeah.
Pain,
God,
Jarrett, pain.
good old Marvin Lewis.
Oh,
Speaking of puke, the Carolina
let's
Panthers.
go back to the Panthers.
So uh I'm thinking along the lines of D plus.
Literally, yeah. I'm so happy we're on the same level today because just D. I was just straight D. Like, what did they do? Nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
They brought in Matt Corral. Woo!
yeah,
Their
I
draft
mean,
class was not very good.
no, it honestly, it doesn't even matter your opinion on Corral because he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and with the rest of this team, he is still probably going to be dog water
Oh yeah.
because they suck so bad.
Oh yeah.
Like the offensive line is terrible. Robbie Anderson's thinking about retiring because the team itself is such a terrible organization.
I won't make the joke. I'm not. I'm gonna leave him alone. I've done enough.
Well, they got. I mean, DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey are great when they're on the field.
Yeah. If Robbie Anderson still plays,
They're still. Let's be honest, they're still rolling out with Sam Darnold in week 1, and he's probably going to do good week 1 and 2, and then
Yeah.
he's going to become Sam Darnold
no,
again.
no. Listen,
where
man.
he's-
Listen. As a fantasy owner of Sam Darnold, okay, I need you to chill. All right. I need you to relax. Number one. Number two. In all seriousness, Sam Darnold in weeks 1 through 5 last season was great until he got a concussion.
was.
And just like the Browns did with Baker in his shoulder, the Panthers were like, rub some dirt on it and get back out there, boy. And he did. And he played like he had a concussion. He played scared.
Oh, he was terrified. Like I still think back to that clip of him like looking around on the sideline, looked like he was seeing ghosts.
I know.
Like that is how bad like he was just getting demolished. He'd get the ball out and get clobbered.
Oh yeah, no. If he's healthy, even if this line is bad, like they definitely needed to have fixed it. There's a third stringer named Michael Jordan on this line, by the way.
Went to Ohio State.
Yeah, I forgot he existed, and I saw his name, and I was like, Mike.
I'm honestly shocked he was a third stringer. Like I figured he would be higher up as bad as they are.
Yeah, you'd think, but no, he is currently behind. This is off topic, but he's currently behind Pat Elfane and Cade Mays.
Wow.
Yeah, on this ESPN depth chart.
Pro bowlers right there.
Yeah. No, their line is bad. Their wide receiver core is pretty good, and their running back core, when healthy, is really good.
Yeah.
But they still have their defense is still, and their line is non-existent. So
yeah, I mean, they did bring in Bradley Bozeman, who was a really good center with Baltimore, and they brought in Austin Corbett from the Rams. But like outside of that, like who's their left tackle? Who's their right tackle?
I already say, is that going to be enough? Because I don't think so.
It can't be. Well, I take that back. They did bring in Ike Ekwonu, who is very good. I really liked him. That was a great selection. So you get him on the left or right side. I don't know which place they're going to play him.
Listen, I get it. They did do like improvements to the line. That will make it better. Like that, like this year anyway. Like 2 guys will definitely make it better because they're vets. But I like Aquanu's great, but he won't be what he's going to be until late in the year, if not next year.
Yeah, and they are still coached by probably the worst head coach in the NFL.
Matt Rule?
So where are you getting with like what are you getting out of them? I'm very comfortable giving them their D.
Yeah, oh yeah, same. Like if they can keep Sam Darnold healthy. If not, you're going to throw in a young Matt Corral who's never played an NFL snap in his life, or you go back to PJ Walker, who also got hurt because their line was so bad.
Yeah.
And that, listen, yes, their line will still be bad, but if Sam Darnold's healthy and the improvements they have, maybe, who knows? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe Aquanu, Bozeman, Corbett mixed with Elfane and Motton will just make this the best line in the league. And Sam Darnold will have a second renaissance, and he'll just be what he was last year, except all season.
Yeah.
And this defense will just be godly for no reason. And I've seen weirder.
Yeah.
Panthers fans, there's a chance. I'm going to give you false hope.
Not a good one.
No.
But there is a chance.
There's a chance. Honestly, if Robbie Anderson retires, you might as well just move Christian McCaffrey to receiver and just have Chuba Hubbard start.
Well, I mean, he would probably be healthier as a receiver.
That is what I am saying.
So I honestly, let's do it. Like, go ahead and
you could do it right now. I mean,
do it right now,
even with Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, I would probably like their team better if they went ahead and moved him to receiver.
Dude, imagine the receiver core of Moore, Anderson, and McCaffrey.
That's not bad.
That's pretty tough.
That is not bad.
That's pretty tough. Good. Yeah,
it's pretty good. You're throwing McCaffrey in the slot. Dude. Although he will be going against more cornerbacks, but the issue
I don't think that would matter.
What the issue is if they did that, they couldn't scheme him out of the backfield to get him lined up against a linebacker every play.
Okay,
hold on.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
Because their offensive scheme sucks.
Yeah.
Other teams, like, let's be honest, how does Cooper Kupp get lined up against linebackers? It shouldn't happen, but it does because the Rams have a great offensive scheme. The Panthers do not have that, probably won't have that while their current coach is there. So you're not, it's bad. Like, they should have fired Roll. I think everybody knows they should have fired Roll, and they just didn't.
Dude, what I was going to say was that they should just Deebo Samuel McCaffrey and play him in kind of both spots, but more of a receiver for the health reasons. But also, I'm going to say, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say he's still getting the same touches, and he's like a piece of paper. So
that is facts. But what I was going to say, because you talked about Cooper Kupp being lined up on linebackers. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that man torched linebackers throughout the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
He did. I'm not gonna decline. Do you know what I'm about to say?
I don't. I'm really curious.
One time, he was covered perfectly.
Oh God, let's go.
One time, he was covered perfectly by a man by the name of Logan Wilson.
Yeah.
This is all I'm going to say. I won't get back on this subject. You said the cursed name of Cooper Kupp, and you said linebackers, and I had to bring it up.
Yeah.
The one time a linebacker perfectly covered Cooper Kupp, he got flagged.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say. It's a crime, Jarrett. It's a crime.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a Steelers fan, and I agree. They got a hold on that one.
Listen, man, I'm in my living room, and the second that happens, my brother and another one of my good friends from high school is in there with me, and the whole game they're clowning me because neither one of them are Bengals fans, right? And the whole game they're like jokingly cheering for the Rams. And the second that flag flew out, I had been trying to keep my cool the whole game. I jumped up, what? Like, just all mad, and my brother starts making fun of me, and my friend goes, no, not now. It's like, not a good time. Because like I said, I had kept my cool the entire game until that moment. And even watching it live, it was like, there's no way. It was beautiful.
I think you remember what happened right after that. You got a phone call from good old Jarrett Smith right here.
I did.
And I wasn't even mean about it. I just asked him how he was feeling, which I don't think he really wanted at that time or appreciated. But I thought it was great. Like, I was trying to be a good friend, and he just, he he went on his tirade. I've heard this like 5 times at this point, mainly because I keep giving him crap about the Bengals in the Super Bowl. All right. Are you done with this poverty franchise?
I am.
Okay. The next team up, the New Orleans Saints.
The last team.
The last team up.
So if you've enjoyed our, whatever you
Ra-
would call this about
rambling. This is us rambling. It is called mostly Audibles for a reason because we can't stick to anything at all ever.
No. What you get two guys with ADHD to talk about something, it doesn't go well.
No, never will.
No. All right. Well, all right, here we go.
I'm gonna start us off on this one, and I'm gonna give them a B minus.
Mm-hmm.
And mainly I like their draft. They had a really good draft. Now they did let Teron Armstead walk. I'm not very pleased with that, but I understand why. When he's 30, he's on the wrong side of 30, and he got 5 years, $75 million. I get it. If he'd have signed for 3 years, 55, what is it, 55, 60?
Yeah,
somewhere around
that. Yeah.
Yeah, if he'd done that, you'd have been okay with it. They let Marcus Williams walk. They brought in Tyrann Mathieu. They also brought in Marcus May, which gives them one of the best safety duos in the NFL. Really enjoyed that. Jameis Winston's back. Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he can stay healthy and return to his 5-game form that he had in the beginning of last year. Because if he does, they will be very good. And Jarvis Landry. Those are probably the big free agents. And then they also drafted Chris Olave, who I thoroughly enjoy. I really enjoyed watching him at Ohio State as much as I hate Ohio State. The one that kind of concerns me is Trevor Penning from their draft class. That's because he's probably the biggest wild card in the offensive line we've seen in a while. He could either be one of the best left tackles in the league, or he could be one of the most penalized and probably gets benched within 2 years. So, did I say a grade for them?
B minus.
B minus. I'm gonna bump it up to a B now that I've kind of convinced myself on B.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this burns me any if they suck, just because I'm placing a lot of faith on Jameis Winston's shoulders, and I get that. But he's also this is it's a very hard team to grade, mainly because you don't know what their team's going to look like week 1.
Right.
Alvin Kamara, do we even have a decision on what's happened with his legal stuff?
No, not that I've heard. It might have been quietly settled and reported on very briefly, but I haven't heard anything about him.
I hadn't heard anything. We don't know if Michael Thomas is going to play because, well, it's Michael Thomas. Nobody knows if he's ever going to play. He kind of just chooses if he wants to play or not, which is, I'm going to be honest, I'd have cut him already. But that's me. They did bring in Jarvis
to get a deal because he's so good.
Yeah, their receiving core is, if he plays, Michael Thomas, Olave, and Jarvis Landry.
Ridiculous.
That's pretty good.
With Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield, bro.
Yeah, they still have a very capable 4 with Traquan. They got Alvin Kamara in the backfield. I don't know who their backup running back is. Do you have their roster pulled up right now?
Right now it's Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram? Okay. He can be serviceable for a few weeks before he probably breaks down.
Behind him is Tony Jones Jr. and Dwayne Washington.
Okay, well, that's not good.
No, no, it's not.
But if Kamara's there, this offense is not bad. The O-line will be decent.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest worrisome part for me is coaching. Now that Peyton's gone, Sean Payton, I should say. Now that Sean Payton is gone, what are the Saints going to look like? Are they still going to be as well coached as they have been for the past decade plus?
Mm-hmm.
If they are, this team is incredible. Like there's a chance. I I wouldn't. I don't know if I could say that they make a run for a wild card, but they could. They could.
Yeah. No,
So
yeah.
and you kind of gotta. This is they go basically as Jameis Winston goes,
Mm-hmm.
which is risky business to say the least.
Yeah, but man, that dude was balling before he tore
He
his
was.
ACL.
Hey, I told everybody once he got his LASIK, he was going to be a baller,
Dude,
and then he tore his ACL.
see, I was gonna give him a B plus, but then you reminded me of the Kamara legal problems and the Michael Thomas just not playing problems.
Yeah.
So I'll agree with you with a B. I don't want to give them a B minus because I really like what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
This is another team that their draft class was insane. I really
Mm-hmm.
like Chris Olave was drafted for one reason and one reason alone, and that was just to catch bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Them I listen, man. I don't know how you don't love Trevor Penning. Like this man was just
Really?
throwing people. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
he
like
was throwing him into the quarterback's knee.
dude. No, I mean like during the draft combine. Like dude.
Did you look at any of the Senior Bowl
No,
highlights?
I
Please
did.
tell
I
me you
did.
did.
I did. I
Please
did.
tell me you saw the video of him throwing the
I
edge rusher into the quarterback's knee.
I did, but that's youth.
Oh,
That's him being a child, essentially. Listen,
well, I'm just saying we don't know with this coaching staff whether they can make him a man or
this
not.
this this staff is essentially the same. They promote Dennis Allen to DC to head coach. They keep Pete Carmichael Jr. as their OC. So listen, man, I think with the same staff that was around what name hit me with it? I can't think.
Sean Payton?
John Payton. There we go. Thank you. That was around Sean Payton. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be well coached still. I think Trevor Penning is hilarious. I think he's got legit talent. But then even behind that, dude, Alontae Taylor at cornerback, like you already have a great secondary, and you just bring in more youth in a late second round pick with Taylor. I love that pick. And like just to keep developing your defense with the draft, I love DeMarco Jackson, linebacker. I think he could be a stud. I really believe
Mm.
that with already a decent linebacker core. Um,
Is he the heir to Demario Davis?
Yeah, yeah, I really think he is. And then
Mm.
dude, you're telling me Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May, and Marshawn Lattimore will not be the scariest secondary in the league, or
Oh, it's gonna be top 5.
like that's
I
that.
mean,
All
there's
I'm saying, their line on either side will be at least serviceable. It will not be
Mhm.
bad on either side. You have
No.
a really good secondary and a decent linebacker core with the replacement to the best part of that linebacker core. If offensively, if Jameis Winston can play like he did last year, and here's the thing too. Well, I'll let me before I actually say this about Jameis Winston in the quarterback room. If Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas play with Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave, Taysom Hill gets healthy to back up Adam Trotman for tight end.
Mhm.
Even if Jameis Winston goes down, they brought in Andy Dalton, who I think is the perfect backup to at least play serviceably for that already great receiving core and running back room if Alvin Kamara plays. Like
I just knew that you were gonna work Andy Dalton into it somehow. I just knew it.
What do you want from me? He signed there. He signed there. This
You
is off-season
Cincinnati
signing.
homer.
I am not. He signed there.
Liar.
I can't help it. He did.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? I can't help that this team signed him. I'm gonna talk about him. Deal with it. Here it is. Here he is in the conversation.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
Okay.
gonna say. And he's not gonna do what Jameis Winston's gonna do, or will do if he can't play. But Andy Dalton will at least be accurate enough and have enough pocket presence to hit one of Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, Trotman, or Hill.
Yeah.
And when you've got a good enough line and enough receivers like that, it doesn't matter who's under center as long as they can throw the ball.
Yeah, I agree. So what they did was they opened themselves a window.
They did.
Tyrann Matthews got a 3-year deal. Marcus May's got a 3-year deal. You're keeping your secondary for at least 2 more years. You're going to keep that receiving core, or at least keep up the receiving core for
Hopefully.
3 more years. Well, Jarvis Landry might not be there. He's
on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, he's on a 1-year deal. I don't know if they would have the money to afford him if he, does really well this year.
Yeah.
But he will also be on the wrong side of 30. So
outside of some of those guys that I named in the draft, I really feel like other than Chris Olave, they drafted for depth or they signed to, like you said, open that window. And I think it's
Yeah.
perfect. I love the commitment to Jameis Winston because when he was good, he was great, and then he got hurt. I love that they're not giving up on him, that they even backed him up better so that
Mm-hmm.
the team can still be good even if he can't play. If they can
Yeah.
get over legal issues and personal issues, you said wild card. I can see this team really competing for the South. Like with how much of a regression I feel like the Bucks will take. Who knows? If they're healthy, they might win it.
See, I don't think that the Bucks take that much of a regression back. And I guess that's where we differ on this.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, the NFC is very top heavy. So I can very easily see them making the run for the wild card. And again, it depends on how they do if Kamara's suspended.
Yeah.
And if MT comes back. Because if MT is not there, you're throwing out Jarvis Landry, Olave, and Ty Montgomery. Is he their third? Traquan Smith.
Yeah, Traquan. I don't see Ty Montgomery on here.
Oh, well, he left them last year. That's my bad.
No, you're good.
I was looking at the wrong thing.
They still have Marquez Callaway.
Well,
not that makes much of a difference. I'm just trying to throw you more names. Deontay Hardy.
But they go as Jameis goes, and Jameis will go a lot better if Michael Thomas is there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Agreed. Like wholeheartedly. Here's the thing too. I think that the biggest thing about the Saints is that when you talked about Trevor Penning being a wild card pick, I think this team is a wild card in general. Because I feel like they have the potential, like I said, to not only win the South, but maybe even make a run in the playoffs. Not Super Bowl, but make a run. Or they could be barely chasing the wild card.
It depends on how far this team goes as Jameis goes.
Yeah.
If he is what he was in those first 5 weeks, they're definitely pushing for wild card.
Oh yeah.
And could be pushing for that division. But if we get the Jameis Winston that I guess more people expect, which is a middle of the road quarterback, then I guess you'll probably see wild card to miss in the playoffs.
I think a very telling, like in the first few weeks, it'll be very telling whether it was Sean Payton that was making Jameis play the way he was last year, or if it was the coaching staff in general.
Or if it was just him getting LASIK. I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
Is it Pete Carmichael? Is it Sean Payton? Or is it the LASIK? We may never know.
Tune in to around week 3 when we can probably tell you.
Tune in about like 5 months. We will let you know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Your sources are right here.
Yeah. Hey,
on the Mostly Audibles podcast.
If you aren't listening to Mostly Audibles, the two, like, I don't even know, like, I know one of us sounds super hick. I don't know what I sound like to other people. I'd imagine I sound like I have something.
I can't help it, man.
So if we both sound hicky, I'm sorry. But if you're not listening to these two people from I guess the South, we're considered the South, correct?
I definitely am.
I thought so. Well, I mean, where I come from is for sure, but where I'm living currently is kind of meh.
Oh, it's more where you come from, I'd say, because if I went to New York City, they'd still call me Southern.
Oh yeah, factual. Like same for me. So sure, whatever. Yeah, we're Southern. Two guys from the South, not named names Marty. What's his last name?
What?
ESPN Marty.
Oh, Marty Daniels?
No, Marty Smith. There we go.
Smith?
Yeah, not named Marty Smith. Two guys with accents, not named Marty Smith. What are you doing with your life if you're not listening to us? Because obviously it's not living.
No, it's just you're not living your best life, and I think you should change that.
Yeah, bashing teams, making bad judgments, and yelling about things that I probably should have gotten over.
Yeah. You won't ever get over that, though.
No, I'll be talking about this. This show will be like 17 years old, and I'll still be like, Logan Wilson! Logan Wilson!
Yeah, and, if it wasn't for that offensive line, Jamar Chase was wide open.
Listen, you're right.
That was 100% bait.
I know. Listen. I'm not gonna fall for it. As I just said, because we all know we should never have been in that situation to begin with.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Let's see. How would we like to end the show? I'm thinking of fantasy sleeper.
Oh God! Last time we did this, it went very bad for me because I didn't think about it going in, and I still not thought about it going into the final segment. So,
Well, you should know by now that I'm going to surprise you.
well, I thought you go something different than sleeper.
Well, I'm very unoriginal. I couldn't think of anything. So we'll come up with something different for the next episode.
All right, all right, all right. Just
Give you a second.
you go first as always, and I will pick somebody as I see fit.
My fantasy sleeper. And I'm so excited for this one because I'm really curious on your opinion of it. Zach Wilson. Oh, yeah. I went there. Listen, okay, hear me out. The way he ended the year last year, so much promise. They added Garrett Wilson. They still have Corey Davis. They still have, oh my God, why am I blanking on the other kid's name?
See, I'm not the only one.
They still have 3 1,000 yards receivers. Love that. I think Zach Wilson's going to air it out this year. Their O-line is healthy. They should be better. Their receivers are better, especially since adding Garrett. I am super excited. The only thing that's really going to kill them is their first, I think, 9 weeks their schedule.
They're going to be 0-9.
There's a good chance they win a couple games. I said a couple. I'm not giving them much here.
You are biased, my friend.
How am I biased? It's the Jets.
You're biased. They're so bad.
They're not that bad.
They're so bad.
No.
Listen, I can't. I think I am straight up biased because my brother's a Jets fan, and I don't want to give him any sort of anything coming from the Jets.
Well, you're gonna have to show him this part of the podcast because I'm not all in on the Jets this season because their schedule sucks and they're probably gonna get murdered. But I'm here for the future of the Jets.
You and everyone from New York and my brother.
Yeah, I love the draft.
They've got all of 11 people cheering for them.
Hey, 12 now.
All right, all Jets. Are you done with your Jets crusade?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with another player after you go. But
all right, because I've got 2 actually.
I feel like we alternate. See how it goes.
All right, dope. So I guess my first of 2, Hayden Hurst. I really like. I feel like that CJ Uzomah spot's gonna be wide open, and Hurst being more of a because like CJ is great. I have nothing but respect for CJ, but he was mostly athleticism, right? In an already packed receiver room. We already have the 3rd toughest schedule in all of football based on percentages and based on paper, right? Regardless, even if it's not as tough, it's still going to be really difficult, and teams are going to be on the lookout for us now. So, I feel like Hayden Hurst is the one wrinkle. Yes, he plays in a spot that people knew he'd throw to, but where he is so much more like he honestly, you can almost play Hayden Hurst in the slot. He might be a little too slow, but where he's a lot thinner than CJ, he's a lot faster, and I feel like he's got better hands than CJ. So I really like. I know that might be a little controversial. I think they're close at the very least, right?
Yeah.
But I really feel like Hayden Hurst, he'll get a lot. I think he'll get a lot of targets, man. I really do. Just because like Joe's gonna check down to him anytime. Like think about it. You've got to cover Jamar Chase. You've got to cover. Oh my
T. Higgins.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, I'm just trying. I was just gonna cut it short instead of going through all the line. I was just gonna say the entirety of the offensive core of receiver. I was gonna give you the clip notes instead of just going through the entirety because I can literally name every receiver.
Fine, do you, man?
Listen, I can go through and name all the receivers. I'm taking longer explaining to you why I was just gonna cut it short rather than just me going forward. The point is, you have every single receiver that has the potential for a breakout game. Your secondary is already going to be tight. They're already going to be as spread out as they possibly can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone's going to get lost in the shuffle, and I feel like it's going to be Hayden Hurst.
Okay, I'm okay with that. I think that was pretty solid. You know who my next one is, and this is one that it hurts my heart because I despise this team. Dalton Schultz.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because they just got rid of Amari Cooper, and they didn't really bring in anybody who's going to fill that role. So you're going to be spreading out the same amount of targets you had. You're going to give more to CD. You're going to give more to Gallup.
Right.
Are you do you really trust James Washington enough to give him 80 targets? I don't think so. I think that they target Dalton Schultz a lot more, and I think he is now more their primary red zone guy, and I think he's going to score a lot.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I really do.
I'm. It really does. It hurts my heart to name a Cowboy player because not the biggest Cowboy fan. Never
Dallas.
have been, never will be. Dallas.
Dallas.
But I really think Dalton Schultz is going to be one of. I I think he has top 5 tight end ceiling, and he'll probably sit around number 7.
Yeah, I like Dalton Schultz a lot. I think that
Mm.
this really will be the year of the tight end. I think
Yeah,
we're gonna see a lot
the
of tight
the
ends.
the transition of quarterbacks is starting to it's starting to get going.
Yeah. Yeah. So
All
my next guy, we've already talked about him pretty extensively. Especially if Michael Thomas doesn't play. Chris Olave is gonna get a lot of targets.
Yeah.
A lot of targets. I don't know if we named him the
Mm-hmm.
last time we were here. We might have, but
I don't believe we named any rookies, honestly.
yeah. So I will be the initial rookie namer.
Okay, that's fair.
Even if Michael Thomas plays, just the sheer fantasy points he's gonna get from absolutely shredding a defense and catching one like 60-yard bomb a game, like he will be worth the fantasy points regardless. Like it'll be easy to overlook him or to keep him on your bench because he's a guy
Mm-hmm.
that like if Michael Thomas plays with Jarvis Landry, he's someone that you'll be like, oh, he's obviously the third option, maybe fourth if you count Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
But I think even as a third or fourth option, if everyone's healthy, just the sheer fact that he's going to probably still get 6, 7 targets a game with at
Mm-hmm.
least 2 or 3 of them being like bombs. I think he's someone that
Listen,
really can get some points. He's a points grabber for sure. Maybe more of a wild
I,
card, but still a points grabber.
I like it. We're doing like little sleepers, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add before we come back?
Um. Uh.
I'm gonna go with no.
No, I don't think so.
Mm.
NFC South sucks. I hate.
Yeah.
This was a painful episode and at parts.
Well, it gets better. We're doing the East next.
That'll be fun.
NFC East, AFC East. That should be at least a little bit more interesting. We're not going to have as many dumpster fire organizations.
Right. You know what we need?
What do we need?
I want to hire like a promotional team, but like one that does like the WWE like promotionals for like the next week. So it's like next week I'm mostly Audibles, and it's like super dramatic.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I think I'm gonna invest into that.
Listen, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
If we'll talk off air. See what we can come up with here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, this has been mostly Audibles. This is what probably one of the worst episodes you'll ever hear from us, mainly because, well, we were covering crappy teams.
It wasn't even bad. It was
It
just
was. It wasn't bad. It was funny because they were so bad, but the next episode and the episode after that will be probably peak entertainment. We got a surprise guest coming on for the North. Super excited about that.
Yeah.
Really, I'm here for it. At just a nice hint, we're adding another Steelers fan to the fray for the North.
That's the last thing anyone ever needs is another one.
Well, if there were more Bengals fans, we could add one of them.
Listen, I don't think you understand. After this last year, I've seen more orange and black than I've ever seen in my life.
Bandwagon.
That's what I'm saying.
Can't stand them. All right. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you laughed as much as we have. And next episode should be really interesting. Should be coming out next week sometime.
Yes.
Don't know date for sure. Probably around the same time this one comes out.
Just be on the lookout. Just if you're not following the Greater Than Network, what are you doing? That's another thing. If you're not watching all the other shows too, you're just boring.
Subtle plug on the IG page.
I don't know. You can't. I don't know why I just did the motion as if you can see me, but I did like a plug motion. Like I literally
Of course you did.
caught myself doing a plug motion as if you guys can see what I'm doing.
Well, it's the thought that counts.
Yeah, I was gonna make a noise, but then I was like, without the visual, it just would sound really weird, so I decided not to.
Yeah, probably smart.
The inner council of my brain voted against it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would, it worked out.
It did. All right, goodbye. I'm going. I'm leaving.
Thank y'all. Goodbye. See y'all next week.